All right, guys, just finished up with supper and it is raining outside right now. So like I was saying earlier, coming inside of this tent, there's loads of room. It's very unique that you sleep this way instead of that way, which I actually like a lot. So give you guys a little bit of a rundown right now of what's going on inside of here. I do have my downfill Thermarest sleeping bag, which is good for -18. Tonight it's probably only going to go down to like maybe +5 degrees Celsius. So this is more than enough. I've got my Amok fuel. This is not the Winterlite. This is the insulated, but not the winterized pad. Totally warm. I can feel the warmth coming up as I'm sitting on it right now. I then have my rain jacket up here, which I'm going to be using this and my hoodie as a pillow. I've got a change of socks. I've got some tight base layer pants, which I really like wearing. I know they're thin, but the sleeping bag's super warm, and sleeping in pants is never a good idea because they're always wet and muddy, whatever. But tight base layers allow me to roll in my sleeping bag and slip and slide without the sleeping bag following me. So it's like I'm inside of a nice big cloud. Boomer is going to be in and out of the sleeping bag, I imagine. We'll get his sweater off soon. He's doing really good right now. He's tired. He is definitely tired and wants to go to sleep. And trying to tucker him out by running around outside. So he will sleep in the sleeping bag with me as always, but I'll leave it unzipped a bit so he can kind of get in and out. The backpack is situated in the vestibule area. I'm going to leave that portion probably open so he can go in and out because he always sleeps on the sleeping bag when it's a little too hot. So that'll give him a little bit of a spot to go. The backside door, I had the panel totally shut because wind is coming up under the vestibule. So I want to keep that panel shut just to block all the wind. And it is honestly, it's warm in here right now. Stepping outside in that wind, it is actually quite cold. But this is doing a really great job at scooping that wind over the tent. So everything's cleaned up, got all the dishes done, went down to the lake, got some water, boiled it up, scrubbed the pots and pans, really easy. And supper was definitely good. 2 thumbs up on that. Kind of simple, a little bit involved, but not really. It was really good and filling. So I do have a couple snacks off to the side. Got the vestibule really neat and orderly, which is what I like. I like things organized. That way when I get up in the morning, I can spark up the stove and start on coffee, probably right here in the vestibule if it's windy and wet, and I don't have to fumble around looking for anything. So I'm going to do a little bit more of a tidy up and hopefully get cozy inside the tent shortly. Alright guys, so the rain is coming in pretty heavy right now. As you guys can probably hear, the wind is picking up also, so we've got kind of a rainstorm happening right now. Boomer and I are hunkered in the tent for the evening. It is now dark outside, so not a whole lot of visibility outside. I do have my headlamp in here, plus this light, which is enough to illuminate the area. But ultimately, I think it's time to just get in. My shoes are a little bit wet. My pants aren't terribly wet, but I'm going to lay everything out here just so it can air dry throughout the evening and hopefully be a little bit drier in the morning. Like I was saying earlier, I do have a change of clothes. I'm going to get changed into these right now and basically start tent life. So I have a couple movies saved on my phone, which I really enjoy watching in the evening, especially during a storm when you're kind of hunkered in the tent. Might do a little bit of writing, maybe a bit of reading, who knows, we'll see what happens. But right now, I need to get changed. Alright guys, all changed into some nice dry clothes. Gonna leave my sweater on for now and gloves because it is still quite chilly. This light's doing a really great job, but I am gonna dim it down and shut it off just a few moments because I do have my phone, a couple snacks, and it's almost movie time. So I'm gonna get my shoes propped up here, and what I like to do is fold the tongue to my shoe down and place my phone on top of it. I have no cell phone service. I will mention that. So everything on my phone has been pre-downloaded, which is something that I like to do, which I mentioned earlier. But I'm going to turn this little area into an entertainment area. Boomer's down there on a lightweight down jacket, so he's basically falling asleep. He'll make his way up here and crawl inside when he needs to. But I gotta say, this is very, very comfortable. So there's a large gap in between the inner and outer tent. No condensation in here at all. No issues with that all night. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to sleeping in the high winds. The rain is starting to taper off, but it's pushing in large waves, so it'll be back. It's been doing this all day. But I am going to shut the camera off for now, fire up a movie here, and start relaxing and enjoying some of this tent life, guys. So I'm going to say goodnight now, and I'll catch up with you first thing in the morning for some coffee. Good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It is a cold, damp, somewhat rainy, cloudy morning today out on the edge of this lake. So last night it got really windy and it got really rainy, and then it let up and everything almost went silent, kind of eerily silent. So that was pretty interesting. Looking out across the lake today, it is definitely dark and cloudy and moody. There was a little sliver of orange and yellow sunrise, and then gone very quickly. So today's definitely going to be a cold day. My fingertips are actually getting quite chilly right now. So I'm trying to hold it near the Trangia to kind of get warm and get this water boiled up for some coffee rather quickly. No campfire on this trip, so I really did want to have a campfire here last night, but with it being so wet and rainy, there's just no point. And no hot tent, so it was a little chilly, but getting inside that sleeping bag, zipping it up, toasty warm all night. Very enjoyable. So this water's starting to boil up. Let's finish up this coffee and enjoy some hot drink and beautiful scenery out here. Alright guys, hot coffee is extremely needed this morning. My fingertips are starting to feel that that fall kind of fading away and winter starting to arrive, which is always exciting. So hot coffee definitely needed, and a place like this on a dreary kind of cloudy day like this is definitely my vibe. So I've been on kind of a solo self kind of finding cleansing mission lately. I don't know if anyone's caught on to that. Kind of going back to my roots of just doing my own thing, you know, just kind of focusing on work when I'm at work. And the new thing I've been trying is focusing on home when I'm at home. And that seems to be really, really working for me. I don't know how I lost track of that however long ago, but it definitely happens. So being here on YouTube, I share a little bit of behind the scenes here for you guys, which is something I've been doing lately as well. Being on YouTube and being a full-time YouTuber, you're kind of your own boss. So where I'm a filmmaker and a photographer, I travel all over and I create these films for you guys. And while I'm out here, I capture images of photography for myself and my other side of my business. And everything works really good, and I love what I do. The problem is I don't necessarily love who I am when I'm doing what I do, because it gets so hectic and so busy and crazy that you lose track of where you are. At least I do. So kind of categorizing work, home, and then somewhere in between, like me time, is really important. And I've been finding, especially on the last video where I went up, I think it was the last video from now, where I hiked up the mountaintop. That was a huge eye-opener for me. Being up there, being in the element, being right where I belong again. And then going home and having that like off work, flip the switch, done, having that home life as well. Really helped. So that's what I've been doing lately, and this adventure here, kind of back to where I first started the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, you probably won't recognize this area, but this spot, literally exactly where the tent is situated, is last 2 winters ago. I filmed the video, camped here one night, and within like 10 days it was 25 million views. So this is that spot in this one location. I don't know, it's something about it is almost kind of healing. It reminds me of home, but it reminds me of like I'm not trapped at home. I don't know if that makes any sense. Some locations are really repetitive and it just kind of makes you feel dry and stagnant. This location, for some reason, I don't know why, it just makes me feel like I'm home, but I'm free to go. So I like coming back here. The view is also really beautiful. The lake in the background, all over here, and it's just a really nice location. So that is enough talk. If you guys have any comments or questions about that, drop it down below. But definitely work time, personal time, drive a wedge in between them. Absolutely drive a wedge in between them and get back to what you were doing or who you used to be. I guess that's kind of where I'm at. So got a little deep there for a minute, but we're going to enjoy this coffee now. Boomer's off in the bushes over here doing his thing. I don't usually watch him too carefully out in the woods, guys. I know a lot of people say, hey, you should watch Boomer more, or oh, you shouldn't take Boomer up on mountain hikes. He's a dog. He's got 4 legs. He's in 4-wheel drive all the time. I'm not. He's got a brain. He doesn't really want to throw himself off of a cliff. So, yeah. He's okay. He's alright. He never goes far from me. I can see his tail bouncing around over there. If I'm in an area where there's a lot of eagles or owls or a lot of coyotes or it's getting dark in the evening, he automatically just comes back and stays near me. But if he doesn't, I give a little holler out in the woods. He comes back and he just kind of bumps around camp, does his thing. But he's a very smart little guy. I don't really have to watch him or maintain his behavior a whole lot. He does what he wants and he's well-mannered. So we'll let Boomer have some fun exploring. I think he's getting a drink out of the lake right now, actually. So yeah, all in all, a really fun night last night. Enjoyable morning, hot coffee. So let's enjoy this before it turns cold. Alright everybody, just getting started with the pack up process while we have a little break in the rain here. The tent is totally soaked on the outside, and as I mentioned yesterday, these 2 large vestibules, absolutely loving it. So it did rain quite heavy last night. I sat in here, brushed my teeth, kind of got cleaned up, ready for bed. It was nice. It was definitely different not having to worry about a tiny little vestibule, you know. There's a lot of room in here. So what I'm going to be doing is I only have a couple things in here. I've got my sleeping pad, my sleeping bag, a couple odds and ends here and there, and basically get everything packed up, jam it in the backpack, and then do the tent very last. Going to roll that kind of inside out, jam it in the bag, and dry it out when I get home. That's kind of the way of winter camping or wet weather camping. There was a couple items that I did bring that I did not need. One of those was my Boreal 24 saw. This pretty much goes with me every single time I go out. Sometimes I'll bring my 20-inch small forest axe. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just rely on my knife and baton wood down. But the saw seems to be one of those things that's just constantly always with me. It does have some weight to it, but I mean, for what it can do and what it can provide, it's almost a must for me. I like bringing it. It just works. You know, I mean, if something went wrong with the tent, let's say I didn't have pegs, I can always go out with the saw, cut some limbs, some nice decent sized limbs. I mean, sure, you can do that with a knife too, but the saw gives some really nice clean cuts. For getting firewood, for stove length, when you're out hot tenting, the saw is a must. Trees down, whatever you need to do, the saw is always there. It's a very, very useful tool. So this was one thing that I did not use on this trip. I did plan on having a campfire, but with the rain, that kind of killed that. And that's pretty much it. I think I used everything else that I brought other than the saw. So it'd be interesting in hearing from you guys, what are some must-have items that you bring and seldomly or rarely use, but you just need to have it there? I know some people are going to say first aid kit, things like that, but I'm talking like actual camping items that you don't necessarily need to survive, but you just need to have as a tool. Mine is definitely the saw. I like bringing it, even in summer, fall, winter, you name it. The saw seems to always be in my backpack. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that. I'm going to pack everything in here rather quickly, and like I said, I got to beat the rain here because we do have a little window in the rainfall, so take full advantage of that. So get this packed up. All right, everybody, I've got everything packed away inside of the backpack. My fingertips are starting to freeze up. It's actually starting to hail right now, so the temperatures have dipped. It is getting colder. My backpack on the outside is wet, and trying to manipulate all these little snaps and buckles is not easy. So we're gonna wrap it up for here. I do have to get all this on my back, get the camera packed away, and make it out of here. So I want to say thank you guys very much for joining me on this adventure. Let me know in the comment section if you guys enjoyed it, what you would have done differently, maybe what you would have done alternatively. Just for a simple camp out, you know, get out here in the rain, the wind, come out here, no campfires, kind of limited with some things, but still had fun. So that is all I've got. Until next time, peace out. I'll catch you in the next adventure.